I mean, Joshua said in an interview recently something like we should all bow down and worship him almost if he wins the fight. Would you agree with that statement? Would he earn the respect of fellow
Uh,
boxers and fans if he wins?
I wouldn't say worship. I mean, Andy Ruiz is definitely a better fighter than most people gave him credit for, but he's not a great, is he? When we're talking about worshipping heavyweights, we're talking about the likes of Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. Anthony Joshua hasn't earned the right to be worshipped yet by beating an Andy Ruiz.
And Joshua seems to have gotten sort of leaner almost. He's looked like he's lost a bit of muscle. And a lot of people pointed out with the Ruiz fight that maybe it was maybe a lack of speed that sort of didn't really give Joshua that edge. Do you think now the speed he may have gained from dropping a bit of weight, do you think that might be the key to victory?
I think, I'll be honest with you, I'm not so sure whether dropping a little bit of weight will increase the speed of Joshua. It may be fractions if it does, Fighters have a certain level of speed, and they're blessed with speed, or they're not blessed with speed. So I think it'll help him. But he just needs to be careful. He needs to box this time, doesn't he? Really? I mean, the last time they boxed, he was caught after he put Ruiz on the floor, and the speed of Ruiz's punches were a shock to Joshua. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And Joshua seems to have found a sort of new attitude almost since losing to Ruiz. He seems a bit more fired up, pumped up, sort of more focused almost. Do you think that'll benefit them in going forward?
Yeah, I mean, mentally, you could see before the fight the last time there was something on his mind. He just didn't seem to be happy being in Madison Square Gardens. Didn't seem to be. Whether something had happened in training, don't know. But certainly he seems to be in a better place at the moment. So whether training has gone a lot better than the last time, or something has made him feel and look a bit happier, doesn't it?
And I mean, if Joshua does indeed lose, always a possibility with Ruiz. Does he? What does he do next? Does he go on to face Wilder? Does he face Fury? Where does he go?
Well, either of those fights would be good, of course, and we'd all watch them.
Mm.
But I think if Ruiz beats Joshua for the second time, the biggest question will be is how good is Ruiz? Has Joshua been exposed as a second-rate fighter, or is Andy Ruiz a brilliant fighter? And I think that the most important questions would be how is Ruiz going to cope against Tyson Fury? How is he going to get on against Deontay Wilder? And once those fights pan out, if Ruiz was to go on and beat one or two of those, then Joshua's losses wouldn't seem such a bad thing. But if Ruiz then boxes Deontay Wilder, gets knocked out flat in a round or two, or he boxes Tyson Fury and Tyson Fury plays around with him and beats him unanimously on the points quite comfortably as we'd expect, then you could say that Anthony Joshua has clearly lost to a second-rate fighter and therefore wasn't as good as is. But you might find that Anthony Ruiz is going to shock us all and just keep beating these fighters. So it's interesting on both sides where each fighter goes from here, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And sort of, speaking of Fury as well now, he's sort of going about, he's doing different things. I think he appeared in wrestling for a bit as part of a sort of boost his profile almost.
Yeah.
Not need boosting. For heavyweight boxing, where you've had sort of the four top heavyweights fighting off against each other, it kind of sort of feels like it might be edging towards that now with Joshua, Fury, Ruiz, Wilder kind of thing.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, who would you say maybe is the top heavyweight in the world at the moment?
Pound for pound, well, if we're literally talking pound for pound, of course, the lighter of the heavyweights is Deontay Wilder, and is a brilliant fighter. He may be outboxed, but what a puncher he is. So I think it's very close at the moment between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. I think Fury deserved to win the last fight, just about, but it was close, got a draw. And results since then with Deontay Wilder doing overseas and proving again what a brilliant puncher he is. I think it's very close to. I'd put Wilder and Fury joint as pound for pound, or pound for pound in the heavyweight division. Of course, Lomachenko, I think, is probably still pound for pound the best in the world if we're talking pound for pound. But amongst the heavyweights, I'd say Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder both deserve to be jointly rated as the best at the moment.
I mean, yeah, they had such a great fight originally. It was such a close one to go. Of course, Fury getting back up like he did was sort of brilliant. It was unseen. Who would have thought that?
Exactly, and Fury's now remained in good condition since then as well. And don't forget, Fury at the time, 3 months earlier, boxed out Italian, forget his name, and looked bloody awful. You know, and been overweight, and then within 3 months came and did that to Deontay Wilder. So if after another year of training and staying in shape, he may even be better again, so may do a better job on Wilder this time. Fury could well be the best heavyweight in the world, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about maybe Joshua not liking fighting in Madison Square Garden. Maybe it got to him, who knows. But now the fight's been staged in Saudi Arabia. What do you make of that?
Well, it's all about money, isn't it, really? I mean, I don't think if you want to have a proper boxing audience there, you go to Saudi Arabia.
No.
And certainly in boxing in America or Britain, there would be more of a thoroughbred boxing audience going to the fight. It's probably more of a spectacle over there than anything else. You know, you get lots of people that don't go to boxing going to the fights, and I don't think that's great for boxing personally. I like to see it, you know, stage where boxing is popular, and I think that's in Britain and America. But money talks, so you can't blame them for going. But I just think it'll spoil the spectacle a little bit, you know. I don't think boxing in Germany, actually, I've ever seen boxing in Germany. It's just not like a boxing match here. In America, they clap and they all go dressed up, and it's a night out rather than a boxing spectacle. And I think that's what it's going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and finally, now come more locally. What do you make of Welsh boxers coming through? Is there maybe another golden generation in terms of Welsh boxing? We've seen, you know, Lee Selby have relative success over the last few years as well.
Lee did well last month with Ricky Burns.
Yeah, that's a great fight for him personally.
Four British champions is something we've never had before. Although, of course, being British champion these days is not like it used to be. You know, when the British champion was number one or number two of the worst in the country, whereas these days you could be rated 10 in the country and be the British champion. So it's not quite as great achievement as people are making out. But having said that, it's still a brilliant achievement. You know, we got Liam Williams still going strongly. Andrew Selby, if he gets his act together and starts boxing regularly, is a world title threat. So I think boxing in Wales is doing fantastically well at the moment, as it is in Britain, of course.
And that was Nicky Piper.